When most riders hear the phrase safety stirrup, they assume the product has been thoroughly tested and proven to reduce the risk of injury. That assumption seems reasonable. After all, safety stirrups are specially designed to address one of the most dangerous situations a rider can face: becoming trapped in a stirrup after a fall. For decades, manufacturers have developed new designs intended to help riders separate from the horse more quickly during an accident. Today, riders can choose from dozens of options, including hinged stirrups, magnetic release systems, flexible branches, and open-sided designs. But a growing debate within the equestrian industry is raising an uncomfortable question. How do we actually know which designs work best? The discussion gained momentum after the British Equestrian Trade Association called for the development of an official safety standard for stirrups. Industry leaders argue that while many products are marketed as safety stirrups, there is currently no universal standard that defines how those products should be tested or what performance criteria they should meet. For many riders, that revelation has been surprising. Most equestrians are familiar with safety certifications for helmets and body protectors. Those products must pass specific tests before they can be certified for use. Riders often assume similar requirements exist for equipment marketed as safety stirrups. In reality, the situation is far less straightforward. Manufacturers conduct their own testing, and many invest heavily in research and development. However, there is no internationally recognized benchmark that allows riders to compare different stirrup designs using the same set of performance standards. As a result, consumers often find themselves relying on marketing claims, online reviews, or personal recommendations when choosing equipment intended to protect them during a fall. To understand why this matters, we first need to look at the problem safety stirrups were solved to create. One of the most feared riding accidents occurs when a rider falls, but a foot remains caught in the stirrup. If the horse continues moving, the rider can be dragged, sometimes with devastating consequences. Although such accidents are relatively rare, they can result in severe injuries. That risk has motivated generations of riders and equipment manufacturers to search for ways to reduce the likelihood of entrapment. Over time, numerous solutions have emerged. Some designs feature an arm that opens under pressure. Others use magnetic systems that release when a certain force is applied. Open-sided stirrups attempt to create an easier escape route for the foot, while flexible models are designed to reduce the chance of becoming trapped in the first place. All of these approaches share the same objective: helping the rider's foot leave the stirrup during an accident. The challenge is that horse riding accidents are highly unpredictable. A rider can fall forward, backward, sideways, or underneath the horse. The angle of the foot, the speed of the horse, the rider's position, and the nature of the fall can all influence how a stirrup performs. Because every accident is different, evaluating safety equipment becomes significantly more complicated than simply determining whether a mechanism releases under ideal conditions. This complexity is one reason many experts believe an independent testing standard could be valuable. Without a common benchmark, riders have limited information when comparing products. Imagine standing in a tack shop, looking at several different brands of safety stirrups. One manufacturer claims its magnetic system provides the fastest release. Another emphasizes a patented hinge system. A third highlights flexibility and shock absorption. Each company presents a compelling case for its product. But how can riders objectively compare those claims? The question lies at the center of the current debate. According to research conducted by the British Equestrian Trade Association, many riders support the concept of safety stirrups, but would like greater transparency regarding testing and performance data. Rather than relying solely on advertising, they want evidence that allows them to make informed decisions. Supporters of an official standard argue that it would provide exactly that. A testing framework could establish minimum expectations for durability, reliability, and safety performance. It would not guarantee that accidents never occur, but it would offer riders a clear understanding of how products have been evaluated. Creating such a standard, however, presents significant challenges. Unlike helmets, which primarily protect against impact, safety stirrups rely on a wide variety of engineering solutions. Designing tests that fairly evaluate different mechanisms would require extensive collaboration between manufacturers, engineers, governing bodies, and safety experts. Despite those obstacles, momentum for change appears to be growing. Recent concerns about equipment failures have added urgency to the conversation. One widely discussed incident involves veteran rider Mark Smith, who suffered a fall after a plastic stirrup reportedly broke during competition. The accident renewed questions about manufacturing standards and whether all stirrups, not just those marketed as safety products, should meet minimum durability requirements. The incident highlighted a simple but important reality. Before any safety feature can function, the stirrup itself must remain intact. For many riders, that raises another question. Should there be baseline performance standards for every stirrup sold on the market? Advocates believe such standards can improve consumer confidence while encouraging continued innovation. The discussion is not confined to the United Kingdom. In recent years, governing bodies in other countries have also examined stirrup-related safety concerns. The United States Equestrian Federation, for example, has reviewed certain stirrups and saddle attachment designs following reports of riders becoming caught during falls. These developments reflect a broader trend within the equestrian sport. Questions about rider safety, equipment design, and risk management are receiving more attention than ever before. As the sport evolves, both riders and governing organizations are increasingly seeking evidence-based approaches to safety. The debate over safety stirrups fits naturally into that larger conversation. Importantly, this discussion should not be interpreted as an argument against safety stirrups themselves. Many riders have experienced falls where these products may have helped prevent more serious outcomes. Numerous manufacturers have built strong reputations by producing innovative equipment trusted by professionals and amateurs alike. The issue is not whether safety stirrups can be beneficial. The issue is whether riders have enough independent information to evaluate competing products with confidence. For everyday riders, the practical lessons are straightforward. Understand how your equipment works. Inspect it regularly for wear or damage. Research the design before making a purchase, and remember that no piece of tack can eliminate all risk. Horse riding will always involve an element of unpredictability. Safety equipment helps manage that risk, but it can never remove it entirely. Thank you so much for joining us, and remember, I am not AI. If you listen closely, you can hear me breathing.